Okay, good evening, guys. Welcome to one more session of the of from Aussizz Group. Today, we're going to discuss teaching. Teaching is, of course, one of the most important subjects. What we're going to talk about today, of course, we will discuss all the entry points, pathways, colleges, available intakes, and scholarships today. We have each and every state from Australia who is basically representing their own local colleges and universities. So as you guys know that Aussizz is one of the biggest immigration and education consultants in Australia, and we are very fortunate to have an expert panelist today. As you can see, we have Ravina, who is here from Sydney office. Sharing is from Perth. Neha is from Brisbane. Diksha is basically, as always, Diksha is there from NT and TAS. She stays in Melbourne, but she's representing these two states. We have Manpreet from Adelaide, and we have my buddy Himanshu from Melbourne. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I know you have prepared so many things for this live session. So thank you so much for that. Let's start with now. Again, before we go ahead, I would like to add one more important thing. We will discuss and we will cover all the education aspect of teaching today. So if you have any questions regarding the scholarships or available intakes or colleges, please send it to us. When it comes to immigration, we will not, because we are not experts, we will not be able to give you too much information, but feel free to leave your message and we are more than happy to basically come back to you guys. Usually our immigration Facebook live is on Friday, so I'm sure those guys will look after your queries. So let's start with who to start with. Let's start with Neha from Brisbane. Neha, can you please tell us a little bit about the entry requirements when it comes to teaching? Now, teaching is, of course, when you want to be a teacher in primary or preschool, primary, secondary schools in Australia, teaching is the prerequisite to basically do those kind of jobs. So, Neha, can you please tell us about the entry requirements?
Yep. So for Masters of Teaching and Bachelor of Teaching, the entry requirement is overall 7.5 and 8 in listening and speaking and 7 in reading and writing. So these are the entry requirement for Masters and Bachelor program. But if someone has already done 3 to 4 years of Bachelor or Master study in Australia, then they can get direct entry for this program.
Would they take PTE as a prerequisite?
Most of the university have IELTS as the entry requirement, but few universities in Queensland, like Queensland University of Technology, they are accepting PTE score, and Australian Catholic University can accept PTE score as well.
Excellent. Okay, no problem. Thank you so much. Ravina, can you please tell us about Sydney?
Thank you, Manmarish. So yeah, so to start with the entry requirements for this program. So basically for undergrad program and postgrad program, the English requirements are same, which is 7.5 bands overall and 7.7 in reading and writing and 8 bands in listening and speaking. So academically, they need to have year 12 to be qualified for bachelor's program, and they need to have at least bachelor's degree for masters.
Okay, all right. Can we come back to Adelaide? Manpreet, can you please tell us what are the requirements in Adelaide?
Yeah, sure. So for Adelaide, if you're seeking to take admission in bachelor's or master's level, we have IELTS 7, not less than 7. So we do not have requirement as high as in other states. So you can do this course with just IELTS, and they also accept PT and other forms of English. So if in case you do not have IELTS 7, which is definitely quite academic and difficult, so you can go with other English options for admission purposes. So here we are not talking about registration, so let's not mix that up.
Yes.
So
Yes.
for academic requirement, you can have 7. And they also need you to have a good grades in your year 12 if you're looking for bachelor's. So for all Indian student particularly, but we are talking about other areas too, but let's talk about Indian because we've got a lot of students who come from India. You need to have at least 70% from your CBSE or year 12 board. They usually accept CBSE and ICSE. So you should have your year 12 done from those boards, Or else you can also go with, so interstate board student can have 80% in the year 12, because it's when it comes to the bachelor's, they do expect you to have high grades. So that's one part. Another thing is, you may also need to write a statement called teaching capability assignment. In certain cases, they may not ask you straight away during the admission, but this is also an important part where you need to write 400 to 600 words assignment explaining your capabilities or your intention or how passionate you are to become a teacher in coming future. So it is applicable to both bachelor as well as for master's program. The only exception where English requirement is less is Masters of Education. Specialization usually in TESOL, which is teaching English language.
Yeah.
For those people, they can have 6.5 in IELTS, not less than 6. However, for other bachelor's and master's program, you're expected to have 7 band.
Excellent. Okay, no problem. Himanshu, can you please tell us about Melbourne?
Sure. So like, the students in Melbourne, or I would say Sydney as well, like, since we have more population here, and so, in proportion to that, so if I said it, they are directly proportional to the number of institutes and universities we have here as well. And the students have more variety of courses, to choose from. So say if the student has passed year 12 and, is looking for, and has a low, IELTS band. So say a low balance, IELTS or equivalent, of course, PTE has around 5.5, then they can definitely go for a certificate 3 in childcare or a diploma as well. So that can be a pathway for them, which can eventually lead them to, if they want to, do a bachelor's, and then of course, go into a graduate diploma and a master's. So basically, these are the different AQF levels that the student can, follow. And of course, if the student has basically a good band score, then they can immediately start a bachelor's course as well. So let me start with certificate 3. So as we know, as I just discussed, that certificate 3 and diploma would be having a minimum IELTS requirement of IELTS or equivalent requirement of 5.5.
Okay.
And if I just progress towards the bachelor's, it will be somewhere around 6.5, no less than 6. Post that, it comes graduate diploma. So graduate diploma, we'll be talking more about that in detail later. But right now, since we're looking at the entry requirement, so graduate diploma would be 7 overall, no less than 6.5, and which is eventually leading to masters, as everybody else mentioned that it will be somewhere close to 7 to 7.5.
Yeah.
Depends on which university you're applying for.
Sure. So I could see that every single states is pretty much has got a high entry requirement when it comes to English, because of course as a teacher you would be teaching in English, so that's why all the universities and colleges prerequisite would be to have a good English. So that's pretty much self-explanatory. Sherin, can you please tell us about Perth?
Thank you. So in Western Australia, we have, so I'll start with bachelor's. So we have like 3 universities like Murdoch, ECU and Curtin who is providing this course. So for the entry requirement for these universities, for ECU and Curtin, the entry requirement is IELTS of 7.5 overall, and 7 each in reading and writing, and 8 each in listening and speaking. And for Murdoch, it's a little bit lower than these 2 universities. So for Murdoch, they accept 7 overall and 7 in each band. And for secondary teaching in Murdoch, they accept 7.5 overall and 7 in reading and writing and 8 in listening and speaking. And the minimum requirement for these 3 universities is at least completion of year 12. And except other than IELTS, they also accept PTE for bachelors in these universities. And coming to Masters of Teaching. So for Master of Teaching, we have 4 universities. So it's Murdoch University, Adelaide University, Curtin University, and University of Western Australia. So for these 4 universities, the IELTS requirement, they accept only IELTS, and the requirement for the each band is almost same for all these 4 universities. That is like 7.5 overall and 7 each in reading and writing and 8 in listening and speaking. And other than this, they also the student need to also have bachelor's with with majors in subjects like English, mathematics, science, humanities, and etc. And other entry requirement for this one is it's not really an entry requirement, but they also ask for the statement of purpose from the student, for like why they want to study this course, and what are the career opportunities, and what the student is looking for after the completion of this course. So that is one of the deciding component for the admission team to whether to accept the student or not. Another one is even like if they do not have bachelor's degree, like they should have at least 5 years of work, relevant work experience as well. So that can also be counted. And another one is for UWA, the student require like a weighted average of 60% in their bachelor's degree, and the same SOP, and the like a relevant work experience, if any. Coming to diploma, we have a couple of colleges. So for that, the entry requirement will be 5.5 overall. So it's PT, IELTS, they accept everything. And also if they do not have 5.5 overall, they can also package with the English.
Okay, excellent. Diksha, it's the north and the south, which is Darwin and Tasmania. Can you please tell us about NT and Tasmania, please?
So first I'll talk about Tasmania. So we have University of Tasmania there, UTAS, and they do have all the education and teaching courses. Now, first, when it comes to bachelor courses, so first of all, the thing is a lot of courses are not available for international students. So first, when you're searching, just make sure the course you want to go for is available for an international student. So I'm only going to talk about the courses which is available for international students, which is first of all, Bachelor of Education in Early Childhood, Bachelor of Education in Health and Physical Education. So their primary is not available for everyone. Then they have Master of Teaching and Master of Education. Correct? With Bachelor of Education or Master of Education or Teaching, every courses Tasmania's requirement is overall 7.5, then listening 8, speaking 8, and writing and reading 7.5 as 7, as everybody has discussed. Also, the academic requirement is 65%. So you need to have 65% in your previous degree. Like if you've done year 12, you need to have 65%. If you have done a bachelor's, you need to have 65% to qualify for a master's. All their early childhood and their health and physical, it's accredited by Initial Teaching Education Program. So they have that accreditation. The annual fee is around 30,950 for all the courses, which is the standard for teaching. So be it education, be it teaching, they will have 30,950 annual fee for all these kind of courses. Also, UTAS do not accept PT. They only accept IELTS, plus they also accept something called UTAS Access. Now, what is UTAS Access is that they have partnered with Navitas, which is an English provider. So a student needs to do a 10 weeks LE course with Navitas to qualify for a degree. And in this course specifically, otherwise the requirement is only 55% in that course. But specifically for education and teaching, they want the student to have at least 70% in the Navitas course to be eligible for University of Tasmania's courses. Correct. And so they need to write, also they need to write a non-academic capacity statement. So again, as one of my colleagues said, that there is a thing called teaching capability statements and all those things. Yes. So student has to write it here as well. They need to have a criminal background. There will be a criminal background conducted. Then they need to have working with children check, which is the basic thing. You need to make sure that you accept these terms and clauses. So pretty much this is about UTAS. I'm going to talk about the pathways like diplomas and certificates in the pathway session when we talk. Now coming to CDU. So CDU has, and also, sorry, I wanted to complete, UTAS run all these courses only in semester 1. So all their education teaching courses are only for semester 1, which is February.
Okay.
So make sure when you're applying, you're applying for the February intake.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to CDU, they have both SEM 1 and SEM 2 intakes. So they have their courses both in Feb and July. So that's like good that there are 2 intakes available for that. They again have, so they have Bachelor of Education in Early Childhood, Primary, Secondary, and then they have Master of Teaching in Early Childhood, Primary, and Secondary. So that's how they have divided their bachelors and masters.
Yeah.
Now, again, for bachelors, you need to have 60% in your previous qualification. CDU is not very strict about having a cognate background, like, you know, you need to come from a cognate background or something like that. So even if you have done a certain subject in your school and you have received 60% overall in your year 12 from whichever country you're from, then you can qualify for bachelors. Plus, now the good thing about CDU is the English requirement for English is only 6.5, no less than 6.5. So people who are like, you know, finding it difficult to get a 7 or something like that, they can definitely go to CDU because the requirement is only 6.5, no less than 6.5 for bachelor's courses. Now, when it comes to masters, again, they have all the early childhood, primary and secondary, and their English requirement is 7, no less than 7. So it's not overall 7.5 or you need to have speaker like 8 in speaking or listening. You can have 7 overall, no band less than 7. And you'll be qualified to study in master, like you'll be qualified to study Master of Teaching in CDU. And again, you need to write a statement, which is teaching capability statement. As Manpreet said, they need to write a 400 to 600 words, like why they want to take this course. Also, they need to choose specializations in masters, which is very important. So make sure, like, while you're studying your masters, like for example, the specializations mentioned in CDU is mathematics and science. So there should be a correlation of mathematics and science in your previous degree. Even though you come from an engineering background, that's absolutely okay. After completing a Bachelor of Engineering or Master of Engineering, you can still do a Master of Teaching. That's absolutely okay. But the specialization that you choose for that course should be aligned to your previous studies. So that's how you need to make the choice for that. So yeah, pretty much these are the requirements for CDU in Tasmania. Thank you.
Excellent. So it's pretty much what I could get it is for bachelor's, you want 6.5. It's kind of a rule of thumb. Don't quote me on that. For rule of thumb, 6.5 for bachelor's and 7.5 for masters. And then a little bit of less bands in each is okay. Now, my question to you is kind of open question. Okay. Anybody can answer. What are the traits or who should choose teaching? If I have finished year 12, okay, and I'm planning to do a course, who would we recommend, or what are the things which should be in there where they can choose teaching as a career or as a profession? Anybody wants to shed any light?
Yep. Yeah. You want me to go ahead? I'll go ahead. So for me, I think the most important thing for a student is to be academically bright. Okay. Now, for example, if someone wants to teach maths, you need to know that they need to know their passion about a subject, plus you need to understand that they're passionate enough about that subject, like, oh, I want to be a maths teacher. Because see, unless it doesn't come within you, you can't really succeed. You can't be a successful teacher.
That's
right? Also, their English should be good, because again, they are going to like study in Australia, like, you know, they'll be teaching in English. So their English needs to be good. Obviously, they should be good with children. Like, that's the most important thing. So even if they apply for early childhood, primary, because there are different zones, like early childhood will be teaching kindergarten, then primary school, you know, secondary. So they need to know how to tackle that situation with all kinds of like students, like all age of students. And so they should have leadership skills. I think that's what I would say.
Himanshu, any thoughts on that?
I mean, I think the 3 points that she mentioned perfectly fits in. Like, you know, if someone is really interested in teaching, and of course, like one more thing, maybe it's a bit psychological side. The student, like, you know, someone if like they might have taught their siblings or, you know, their friends while, you know, in schools, so they would understand, like, you know, if they can actually explain certain concepts, or, you know, if they are actually able to explain things or not. And of course, as Deeksha mentioned, that they should be comfortable around children as well.
Yeah.
Because their whole life would be actually, you know, around children. So, like, you know, when it comes to their career, so either it's early childhood, either it's secondary school, or in fact, I would say special needs as well.
Yes.
So, even that's another, like, area of, teaching. So yeah, of course, I think all of the points that Diksha mentioned, completely makes sense here.
Everybody else is okay with those? Anybody wants to add anything, or we are okay? You think pretty much everything is relative what it is? Perfect, no problem.
Yeah, so like Diksha and Himanshu already mentioned, like those student who wants to pursue these course should be like, really those student who really wants to pursue teaching profession, because teaching profession demands highest professional standards and personal ethics, because they are the responsible for the education, safety and well-being of the children in that sector. So yeah. So those students who really wants to pursue their career as a teacher should, go ahead with this course. Yes.
Excellent. So of course we would have students, they're coming from overseas, or they don't know what are the pathways though. So for an example, if I'm not there, I don't have a 6.5, which is a prerequisite for bachelor's, for example, or if I haven't done, or I haven't got a score of 65% in the previous course or at year 12, what are the pathways are there, where suppose if I have not achieved that much, how I can still go to starting from diploma, bachelor's, master's? What are the pathways? So can we start with Himanshu? Can you please tell us,
So,
Himanshu?
I think, yeah, that's a really good point, because not every international student, would be having great English to start with. Of course, eventually, when they come here, spend 1 or 2 years in this country, their English
We
improves
straight away don't
drastically.
understand good day, mate. That I can tell you.
Yeah, that's true. That's the slang that we sometimes, there are so many slang that I also don't understand here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it is, and that's interesting. So yeah, so say they can actually start from diploma of, early childhood. Say if they want to, start, for early childhood, so diploma of early childhood, they can actually study, which can be, as I mentioned, like, the initially, so for diploma, like, the entry requirement won't be that high. I'm not just talking about the English. It's like
Yes.
the other things also. There won't be any prerequisite for that. It's straightforward, and it's just that they need someone, to start. So say if you have 5.5, you will be eligible. In fact, if you don't have 5.5 also, you can always package your course with ELICOS,
Okay.
a general English course. So I think that way, there's no stopping for you to start, your pathway, or your career in early childhood, or any course, I would, for that matter. So
Okay.
this is why, I think diploma can be a good pathway for those people. Yeah, I think that's pretty
So
much it.
diploma, they basically go to
Diploma
bachelor's,
leading to bachelor's.
and master's.
And diploma would be, it just depends on different colleges. It can be, of course, it can be basically delivered by colleges and university as well. But
Yeah.
most likely, what I've seen is that, like as per my experience, that the universities, when they offer a diploma of early childhood, it's most likely a pathway program, which leads you to eventually a bachelor. So not every diploma of childcare, or certificate 3 in childcare of any institute or
Yeah.
college, like, we have to be very mindful, about what course are we choosing, that it cannot, every course cannot be a pathway for bachelors.
True.
So a course that is usually offered by higher education, the universities, or business schools, are a pathway, leading to bachelors.
Yeah. So students
Yeah.
can pretty much come to you and you will give more information.
Absolutely, 100%.
Thank you. Ravina, can you please tell us about Sydney, the pathways?
Yes, Mangesh. So as Himanshu mentioned, so if a student who does not have any background, let's say he's not directly qualifying for the bachelor's program or for the future, prospects in that particular course, so they can start from either from certificate 3 in early childhood, which can lead them to diploma of early childhood and education and care, or they can directly start from the diploma itself. So probably the diploma will be for 2 years. That can lead them to the bachelor's of, early childhood education and care, or maybe to teaching.
Yeah, sure.
And
Excellent.
entry requirements are kind of same, like they need to have 5.5 bands in IELTS or PTE. Everything is acceptable, and year 12 minimum qualification.
Okay, no problem. Neha, can you please tell us the situation in Brisbane?
Yeah, so in Queensland, if someone wants to take admission in bachelor program, then they can get into diploma of early childhood course. And there are a few colleges over here, including TAFE, And it depends upon the institute. It can be from a 1 year to 2 year program, and then you can directly get into bachelor program. So for, and the entry requirement for diploma, as discussed, it will be overall fit 5.5. They
Yep.
can take credit and then they can get into bachelor program. And for masters, if student wants to get into a pathway, then they can study graduate certificate in teaching.
Yep.
It is available in few institute like JCU and Griffith University, and then they can start studying a master's program.
Okay, excellent. Diksha, can you please tell us about NT and Tasmania, please?
So in Tasmania, there is only one option I found in UTAS, which was Diploma of Universal Global Teaching. Like, it's related to education, but it's the only diploma that was available for international students. They do have a lot of diplomas and certificates when it comes to education. Now, when it comes to CDU, they have certificate 3, 4, and diplomas in early childhood care. Also, they provide credits. So, for example, if a student, and their requirement is only 5.5, no less than 5. So, for example, a student wants to come from a country where English is not a first language, they can definitely package their studies with diploma of early childhood care leading to a bachelor's of education in early childhood care. First of all, they'll get credits for it. Diploma is anyway cheaper than a bachelor of education. Diploma, the annual fee of diploma is around 16,000, whereas the annual fee of bachelor's is around 25,000. So it's up to them, like, you know, if they want to package it in that way. And
so, sorry to interrupt. When a student finish diploma, do they go straight to second year?
yes, exactly.
Okay, all right.
And anyway, every all the bachelors of education are for 4 years. So it's a standard. It's a standard that all the bachelor of educations are for 4 years, and diploma can be from 1 year to 1.5 year. So and then they have certificate 3 and 4. Also, if you don't, like as Himanshu said, if you don't meet requirements, you can definitely go for a certificate 3. Students who are onshore as well, and they want to change their field. Like, for example, I was studying maybe accounting, but then I want to change my field, and you know, I am not able to find my specialization in Bachelor of Teaching. Like, I've done a Bachelor's of Accounting, and I can't find my specialization because there are no subjects related to economics, accounts, or anything related to that. So what they can do, they can choose a pathway. They can go ahead with a certificate 3, 4 diploma, or a diploma leading to bachelor's, and they can still get a qualification when it comes to a teaching. So or they can go for a graduate diploma, which is not available, graduate diploma of teaching leading to master's. But when it comes to CDU and when it comes to NT and Tasmania, you can go ahead with these options.
Excellent. Okay. Now we'll come back to our neighbor Adelaide. Manpreet, can you please tell us about Adelaide?
Certainly. So in Adelaide, I'll talk about 3 pathways. One, we have diploma to bachelor, which pretty much everybody gave the explanation. You go with diploma early childhood, you package it with bachelor's, that one pathway. I'll come up with the different pathway again. So we have bachelor with master's. So this is a package program wherein you will be studying bachelor in a specialization, say in primary education or secondary education, or even arts. So you can go with Bachelor of Arts, package with Masters of Teaching, and then choose a specialization, or you can straight away take the bachelor leading to master's pathway. So this is going to be 5 years degree if you go to Flinders University. So they offer it for 5 years. So you have bachelor's and then you have a master's. So bachelor usually is 4 years. So obviously they will give credit towards the master's. So eventually the master's will be a 1 year. So it'll total 5 years. However, if you decide in between that after bachelor, you're done with study, you do not want to do master's, you can always opt out to defer for master's. So you can stick with bachelor's and pursue your career. That one pathway. That's the second pathway. And then we comes to the third one, which is available in University of Adelaide. So that pathway is a combination of 2 bachelors. So we have bachelors of teaching, and then you can combine it with bachelors of business management, economics, computer science, music, in fact, or any other specialization which is available. Usually it's computer science, mathematics, music, business management. So this
it will be at the same time, right? Both of them will be at the same time.
So it is basically 4 years wherein you will understand the fundamentals of teaching. And in second bachelor, you'll understand the specialization that you've chosen. So you can pursue your career in that particular specialization. So it's a 4 years of degree in University of Adelaide. In terms of tuition, we'll cover up that part once we discuss the fees. However, these are the three pathways. We have another one wherein you have Bachelor of Education from your respective country and you have a couple of years of experience, say for instance in the teaching field. Interestingly, in India, we have Bachelor of Education for a couple of years. If you have another bachelor's, if you're pursuing the dream of teaching, you need to have a Bachelor of Education. In that scenario, you can even go with the master's option, and you can also choose to have the credit transfer. For instance, you do not want to study for 2 years, you only want it to be short, so you can apply for the credits having a bachelor's degree plus 2 years experience. So you don't need to repeat 2 years, you can just stick with 1 year of master's option in education or teaching.
Excellent. Okay. Perfect. Beautiful. So there are so many options. There are so many options where you can study music, you can do, other courses, but that will be 4 years of your bachelor's. Yeah. Excellent. Sharing, can you please tell us about Perth?
Thank you. Yeah, so in Perth, we have a limited options. Unfortunately, we have only one pathway. So it will, I think Manpreet, she have covered pretty much everything. So it's like if you want to go from, you can package from bachelor's to master's. So usually bachelor is for 4 years and master is for 2 years. So total it will be of 6 years. But if you take a pathway from bachelor's to master, then you will be able to complete the course in within 5 years. So that's the only pathway available here. However, like Manpreet already explained, if the student, depending on the student's credit for prior learning, like informal and formal learning. So formal learning can be included like relevant bachelor study in that particular teaching field, and the informal learning includes the like the student's experience in that particular field. So work experience basically. So if the student have like a formal, education in that particular field and informal, experiences, so the student you have a advanced standing. So instead of like completing the bachelor's in 4 years, the student can be, depending upon his profile, he can be able to, complete the course within 3 years. So it's same for masters. So master usually for 2 years. So depending on his profile, he can also complete within 18 months. So that's the advanced standing and
Okay, excellent. So we pretty much covered the entry points, we covered the pathways. Now, the other next important things which comes up is if I'm a student, of course, there are students which would be more into the university or college rating, where they want the perfect sort of college where money is not an issue and they just want a quality education. There are some students who would little bit tight on budget, and they would like to go on a course which, or on a university or a college which provides it for a cheaper price. So starting from, of course, our home ground, which is Melbourne, Himanshu, can you please tell us now what we'll do is we will combine colleges and intake so that it will be easier for our audience to understand, and we will be able to tell them in a proper way as well. So Himanshu, can you please tell us the available intakes and the colleges which we provide our students with different options?
I mean, there are different ranges of, I would say universities and business schools or institutes, who can provide you such courses.
Mm-hmm.
So say, starting from, all the certificate 3 and diploma level of, courses and colleges. So say, there's a college called as ALG, Australian Learning Group.
Mm-hmm.
They have diploma in childcare and certificate 3 as well. So, they can definitely, have a pathway, you can have a package program through them. The other one can be Job Training Institute, JTI. That can be, also one of the options. Yeah, I'm just like listing a few. There are heaps of others, which we can definitely discuss. If you come and attend a face-to-face consultation with me, I'm always available.
Which is a little bit away, but in the meantime, you can.
Right now, it's not possible. Right now, I'm available on the phone.
Yes.
So yeah, apart from that, we have, I would say, what we call it, budget universities. At least for the students, who are not financially that capable, to be able to provide that much of, to be able to pay that much of fees.
Yeah.
So we have
And all of
university.
these have July intake, right? The next one coming up.
Some of them have, like, of course, diploma level and certificate 3 level, they have monthly intakes, mostly monthly intakes. So I don't think so you'll have any problem. And in these circumstances, they all are, every universities and colleges, they all are running it online. So you shouldn't be having having any problem to start the course here.
Yep.
So as I mentioned, ALG, JTI, from the universities, budget university list, I would say Torrance University can be the one. They have special. They are the only one, I think. Apart from I think one more, who are providing special needs. Masters as well.
Okay.
So yeah, so if someone is really interested, in teaching, children with special needs,
Yes.
then
Yes.
they can definitely choose Torrance University for that. They have 1.5 years and 2 years program.
Okay.
And of course, they have few intakes available, such as semester one, which is February, and then July, June and July, and then
Yeah.
September,
Okay.
September and then October. So they have enough trimesters,
That makes
but
sense.
just that for every different course, they have different trimester which are available.
Yeah. Makes
So
sense.
apart from that, VU also have a diploma of early childhood. VU, I mean Victoria University.
Mm-hmm.
They also have a diploma in early childhood, which is a pathway for bachelors for them. So
Yeah.
you can definitely choose that too. Apart from that, Melbourne Polytechnic can also be the one.
Okay.
Apart from diplomas now,
Yes.
there are bachelors as well. So all the major universities have bachelors and I would say masters. So
Mm-hmm.
say you have from the higher end of the fees, I would say University of Melbourne can be the one, and Monash. So those are the two group of eight, which really have higher fees around say almost between 35 to 40,000
Yes.
per annum.
Yeah.
So it's quite expensive, for the students sometimes to go for. So that's why we have a second tier of universities in terms of price, in terms of fees, not
That's
in
right.
terms of quality of education.
Of course.
We have Swinburne. We have we have Swinburne University of Swinburne University, whom we have a direct contract, a partnership with.
Yes. Yeah.
So we can always help you out, throughout the entire process. It's not
Yes.
just like we cannot help you with other universities,
That's right.
but with Swinburne, we can in fact have a better basically package for
Yes.
you, in terms of fees and
Yeah.
other things. Apart from that, Deakin University, Federation University, La Trobe University is also the one. RMIT and ACU, Victoria University again are the ones for masters and bachelors.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to graduate diploma, I think a lot of people are not aware, or maybe they are aware about graduate diploma, say in early childhood or in secondary education.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when I talk about early childhood, because that's the most, these days, it's a famous course for the
That's
students.
right.
So, say if you have done, say bachelor's in accounting, and you're struggling to basically find your grounds here,
Yeah.
in Australia, and you really want to do something related to teaching, you're interested, but you don't want to spend 2 years, because you've already invested, enough money for bachelor's,
That's
enough fees for bachelor's, and you just want to basically get into that stream of basically that particular stream, and the area, the career, then you
Mm-hmm.
can definitely choose graduate diploma, because
Okay.
that will be just 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
and the money that you'll be spending would be somewhere close to around 25 to 28,000 for 1 year.
Okay.
So that's a really good pathway, for the students to basically study and basically have a pathway. Like we'll be discussing about the AITSL requirements
Yes.
as well. Because of which you'll be getting to know why this course is really popular
That's
and
right.
a good prospect for you. So for graduate diploma, unfortunately, there are only two universities, which are available at the moment. I'm not sure whether in the other cities, I think the other consultants would be able to highlight on that. But in Melbourne, we have Victoria University, which has
Yeah.
recently started a graduate diploma in early childhood, and we have RMIT, who has been running this course for a period of 2 or 3 years now. So yeah, so these are the two options there for
Okay.
graduate.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ravina, can you please tell us about Sydney?
Yeah, sure. So I'll start from certificate 3 courses. So certificate 3 courses, basically the duration is of 1 year and the tuition fees would cost the students around like 10,000, 12,000. And diploma also depends upon the duration, like it can be of one year, it can be of 2 years. And the minimum tuition fees would be around $15,000 to $20,000 for the whole duration, basically. And if we talk about like bachelor's and post-grad courses, so there are like around 16 to 17 institutions in NSW who are offering these courses like at undergrad levels and post-grad levels. And the tuition fees starts from basically for bachelor courses from like $21,600, and it can go up to around 38,000, 39,000, depends upon the university, the level of the education that they are providing,
Yeah,
which will be most likely in case of UNSW, University of Sydney, Macquarie University, UTS, because these are the universities which are like kind of expensive, and they are best known for their quality of education.
that's right.
And for masters, the fees would again be on like higher side. So for masters, tuition fees starts from around 23,000 or $25,000 per year, and it can again go up to plus $40,000 plus per year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
And
Neha.
one more thing, yeah, I would like to add about intakes.
Yes.
So majorly the universities do have February intake with them. There is a very rare university who can offer this course in July intake, but majorly it is only available in February intake throughout the year.
And not July as well. Not June or
It,
July.
it is with very limited institutions
Okay.
like Western Sydney University. They only have July intake. So if somebody has missed February intake this year, so they can think about July intake.
So whoever is
Maybe
basically
just like
starting in February has got more, and whoever is looking to do it in the mid
Yeah.
kind of, then they have less options. Okay.
Yes.
Himanshu, you were saying something?
yeah, I was just highlighting one thing that as I think I just mentioned that it's usually semester one which is available for more for all the masters. Like when it comes to graduate diploma, because I've just highlighted that. So graduate diploma is still available for June and July intake for VU and RMIT respectively. So
Okay.
that's yeah. So basically, you still have a chance for June and July, but just that not for masters maybe,
Of course.
but for other colleges, yeah,
For us.
for other courses.
Neha, can you please tell us about Brisbane?
Yeah, so in Brisbane for diploma courses, there are heaps of institutes which are providing this course, and they mainly have monthly intakes. So if we talk about TAFE, they have July intake, and the next intake would be February next year. And for the fees, it varies from 8,000 to 15,000 for whole duration of the course.
Yeah.
And for Bachelor of Teaching, it can be in Australian Catholic University and Queensland University of Technology. So in QUT and University of Queensland, it is a bit expensive. So it's around 16,500 per semester, which is in QUT, and in UQ, it's around 17,500 per semester. But if some student who are looking for the courses like in 10 to 15,000, then it can be in Christian Heritage College. So it's a college and they are providing this course, and the fees will be around 10,000 per semester.
Okay.
So it's pretty cheap for students who are seeking to get admission in this. And most of our other university like JCU and Central Queensland University, fees will be around 13 to 15,000 per semester. And they have July intake right now. So if someone wants to take admission, they can start the application right now for bachelor program. And for students who are seeking to get admission in masters, July intake is open right now in ACU and Christian Heritage College, and it is also available in University of Sunshine Coast for Masters of Teaching in secondary. And other university, they don't have July intake; they have February next year. So fees, it can vary from 15,000 to 16,000. The cheapest one will be in CSC and University of Sunshine Coast, which is around 12,000 per semester.
Okay.
And in Queensland University of Technology, it will be around 15,750 per semester.
Okay, excellent. So you pretty much covered all those. Now, Diksha, can you please tell us about NT and TAS?
Sure. So for Tasmania, the fees is standard, which is annually 30,950, be it bachelor's or master's. So if you're going for a master's, multiply by 2. If you're going for a bachelor's, multiply by 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Their Master of Education is available only for 1.5 years, and they have intakes both Feb and July, like semester 1 and semester 2. But for the other qualifications like Bachelor of Education in all the fields, plus their Master of Teaching, which is for 2 years, the intake is only 1, which is Feb. So that's pretty much for UTAS, like the Tasmania. And since University of Tasmania is the biggest university in Tasmania, and it is one of the prime government university. So I'm sure students would love to go there, and also too many factors when it comes to regional and everything. So University of Tasmania is a really good choice when it comes to standard of education and ranking and everything. Now again, as UTAS, there is CDU in NT. Sorry, UTAS is down.
Yeah.
UTAS is down and NT is above. So similarly, CDU is the main prime university in the NT as well. So their annual fees for their courses is 28,701, something like to that ground, like 28,000 we'll say approximate. So
Yes.
that's their annual fees when it comes to their masters and bachelors courses. Now all the bachelor courses are available in Feb and July, like 2 weeks. So currently, if you want to go ahead with semester 2 of CDU, you can definitely apply. Similarly, master's courses as well, they have intake available for both Feb and July. So they have 2 intakes for bachelor's and master's. And about the certificate and the diploma, similarly, they have Feb and July for that. The diploma early childhood education care is approximately $17,000 for 1 year.
Okay.
So yeah, so this is the fee structure for the education and teaching related courses in both these states.
Yeah.
Plus,
and intakes is pretty much, it's flexible. So Feb and July, both intakes are there.
correct.
Excellent. Manpreet, can you please tell us about Adelaide?
Surely. Well, in Adelaide, if we talk about the intakes, we have 3 leading providers for teaching and education courses. I'll start off first with the Diploma of Early Childhood. For that, we don't have that available in university, but we have 3 leading providers. TAFE, we have Equals International and Southern Cross, if you interested to study early childhood package. When it comes to the bachelor's and master's, we have 3 universities: University of South Australia, Flinders University, and University of Adelaide. UniSA offers February and July intake for both bachelor's and master's. I'll also put a little light on the fees. The fees for bachelor's is 28,800 per annum. And for masters, you have 30,300 for the master's level in UniSA. Coming to the second provider, which is Flinders Uni, they have March intake. That's the only intake they offer. So if anybody's interested, they should start to prepare ahead if they're looking for next year intake.
Yeah.
And the fees over there is 29,000 for bachelors and masters as well. So it's not much difference. For masters is 29,500. So there's no big difference in bachelor's and master's study if you want to study in Flinders University. For University of Adelaide, it's actually the most expensive one. So if you're planning to study in University of Adelaide, you're expected to pay around 38,500 per annum. And the intake they have is only February. The only exception we have is for masters. So for masters of teaching, they have January and July intake if you're looking to study that course. And the fees is again same, 38,500 for bachelors as well as for masters.
Sure. Okay, no problem. Sharing again, Perth, please.
Yes, thank you. So in Perth, I'll start with certificate leading to diploma courses. So we have TAFE. So TAFE with certificate plus diploma, it's of 18 months. So approximate tuition fee for TAFE will be around like 20,000 for the whole tuition course duration. And the intake for TAFE is only Feb and July. So the next available intake for TAFE is July. And other than TAFE, for diploma, certificate leading to diploma courses in early childhood education and care, we have a couple of colleges. So depending on the colleges, the fees ranges from 19,000 to 22,000. So this is for the whole duration. And the intake is like mostly the intake is monthly intake, but some of the colleges, they have term-wise. And coming back to the universities, so we only have 4 universities which provides this course. So starting from Murdoch University. So for Murdoch, the tuition fee for bachelor's and master's is almost the same. So per annum tuition fee will be approximately around 29 to 30 per annum. And the intake for them is like it's Feb and July. And for ECU, Edith Cowan University, the approximate tuition fee for there is around 30,700, and it's the same for like bachelor's and masters. And the available intake is like Feb and July again. And for Curtin, the like bachelor's and master's course tuition fee per annum is like around 31,600, and their intake is also like Feb and July. And for UWA, we have only masters. So for there is the tuition fee is around like 33,000 per annum, and they also do have for the intake for Feb and July. Yeah, that's it for here.
Excellent. Okay, so we pretty much discussed the available intakes. We've covered the fees. We've covered colleges as well. Now, as we all know about, the current situation, I don't want to take name again because we've explained it so many times. The current situation. Let's talk about current situation. Of course, for those ones who got the July intake, which is coming up, is anyone basically providing any scholarship for students? Now, it may be, say for an example, you want to say diploma, you want to say bachelor's, you want to say master's, just the few few lines, whoever is providing any scholarships which is substantial, so that it basically gives a great support for our students. Starting from Ravina, can you please tell us from Sydney, please?
So, yes, Manvarish. So we have CSU University, Charles Sturt University, who is offering like 25% of scholarship, but that is only available for the regional campus, which is Wagga Wagga.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. Neha, can you please tell us about Brisbane?
Yeah, so in QUT is providing scholarship, which is 25%, but it is for international student merit excellence, depending upon their academic background. Griffith is also providing $2,000 bursary, and the University of Sunshine Coast is providing 15% scholarship to all the international students.
Okay, excellent. Himanshu, can you please tell us about our home ground?
Sure. So because when you say home ground, I just remember cricket somehow. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to the colleges here, the fees has have really gone down because of the situation again. Different, since we have more options here, so I won't be able to take you through all the universities and the scholarship that they have. But usually for higher education, not many universities are happy to provide any scholarship, especially for teaching.
Yeah.
When the demand is really high for certain courses. But yeah, I mean, of course, if you're actually doing, say, a graduate diploma course or a master level course. So graduate diploma, I like to again highlight that it's a 1-year course, and a master's is 2 years course. So say if you are, and in fact, Torrance University or La Trobe have an option of for you to study a 1-year master's as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically that can still be helpful for
Save your money.
Save your money, absolutely, and fulfill the AITSL requirement, which maybe we'll be discussing. Yeah. So at the same time, so what I'm saying is that say if you want to do a master level course or a graduate diploma within your 485 visa, then since the colleges they don't issue a confirmation of enrollment, they will be issuing you a verification of enrollment, which is called a VOE.
VOE.
And for which your fees gets reduced. Of course, your fees won't be reduced by 50% or something, but of course, say if your course is around 25 to 26,000, you'll be paying, not paying the international student fees. It will be reduced by, say, somewhere close to approximately 5 or 6,000.
Okay.
And you will eventually be paying around, what you would have paid for as an international student.
Yeah.
Either 26 or 28. Now you'll be paying 20 or 22.
Okay. So $5,000-6,000 kind of a discount there.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Diksha, anything from NT or TAS?
Yes, for Tasmania, like UTAS, they have a Tasmanian International Scholarship. So basically, it's a scholarship of 25% of tuition fees. They will assess your scholarship at the time of the application. So when a consultant will submit your application for the university, they will also submit the scholarship application, and it will be assessed at that time itself according to your grades and credit. They haven't given like a specific grade or something that, okay, if you have 70% or 80%, but then if you're a merit student, you will get 25% of the scholarship. And also you need to maintain your grades throughout your degree to be able to get that scholarship every year. So it's 25% of your tuition fees. With CDU, again, last time also we spoke about, they have different kind of scholarships. So again, there are merit-based scholarships as well. like if you have more than 80 to 100%, you can get the vice chancellor one, which is like 50% or 25%. Then if you're more than 70%, then you can get the global achiever award. If you're more than 60%, then they reduced 15% in your tuition fees.
Your tuition.
Currently, study in Australia NT scholarship is available. It is open till 31st May 2020. The vice chancellor and global excellence just got over. No, they will be over like in next 2 days. So please make sure if you want to apply for a scholarship in CDU, you put your application right now. Like our consultants are working, they know CDU really well. We've been doing really good with CDU. So if you really want that, just make sure you contact the consultant right now and get your admission through quickly so that you can avail those scholarships.
Sure.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Manpreet, can you please tell us about Adelaide?
Yeah, sure. So in Adelaide, if I have to say group the scholarship, I'll put it into a group of three. A is merit scholarship. So all the students with previous good grades, say 5+ CGPA, or if you have 65+, you are eligible for merit scholarship in all three. So they have 25% off for 1 year in the tuition fees.
Yeah.
So that's one group of students who've got prior learning and they had a good grades. Coming to the second is based on the academic excellence. You can call it different names. Every university have their own respective name for the scholarships.
That's right.
If, say, for example, in your previous study, you were not able to score well, now you still have an opportunity to perform well in your current course. If your CGPA is above 5 after your 1 year, you are eligible for various scholarship, but out of all, the first one that they offer is academic excellence, in which they can reduce your tuition fees to 25%. The third one I would say is a community engagement again. So say, for example, you're actively participating in many community works during your uni, you are part of many seminars, webinars, whatever they're organizing, and you're very active in your studies and you're participating in various activities, they may also consider you for certain scholarship or reward up to 1,500, or it can goes up to 4,000 as well. So it really depends. If you are studying, if you show full interest in activities and studies, you definitely have a chance to go with the scholarship.
Yeah.
Or the fourth one, which is currently going, is financial hardship. So all those people who are affected with COVID can go with the financial hardship. Many institutions, say private, say government, they've started to introduce the financial hardship. The fund may vary,
Yes.
but it can be from 1,000 till 2,500 of financial support package that you may be eligible to get in case if you are severely affected with COVID.
Sure. Excellent. And the last one, Sharing, can you please tell us about Perth, the scholarships, please?
Yes, thank you. So in Perth, the colleges, for like regarding the scholarship, usually for the colleges, we do not have scholarship as such. However, the few colleges, they have, due to the current situation, they have reduced the initial payment for the COE. So for example, if the student, like before, if it was like 6,500, so now they are only like charging 1,500. And another one is they have a few colleges, they have waived off the material charge as well. So for colleges, we don't have much, we don't have any scholarship as such. But when it comes to like universities like Murdoch and ECU, they do give international student scholarship of 20%. And then coming to Curtin, we have two scholarships. So one is alumni and family scholarship. So if the student got his or her, family members or mother, father, anyone like who studied in that particular university, like in Curtin University before, then the student is entitled for a scholarship. So depending on her profile, again, the university will decide like how much scholarship to be awarded. And another scholarship in Curtin is merit scholarship. So that merit scholarship is of 25%, and it is only for the first year.
Yeah.
That's it. Thanks.
Excellent. So we pretty much discussed the entry requirements, pathway, colleges, availability, scholarships, pretty much everything what we covered when it comes to teaching. I'm sure we've tried our level best to give as much possible knowledge as to our students. We'll stop here today because I think if any students who are there and want to know more about teaching, our offices, as you guys know, are in every state, as you can see here. Thank you so much to each and every representative for your knowledge. I'm sure that there are a few states which are still providing the July intake, so students can get in touch with us for July intake. And once again, we will come back next week with one other topic. Please keep your questions come through. We'll try our level best to answer to each one of you guys. And thank you once again, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I know we've spent an hour to give as much information as possible. We'll come back next week again. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.